I've been shopping and I've bought some things that I never thought I'd be buying. This video kind of follows on a little bit from the last one in the series, which I'm going to entitle Rick's Midlife Crisis That Isn't a Midlife Crisis. And if you saw that video about me getting a tattoo, you'll know that I'm really trying to embrace new experiences and just not letting things hold me back. That is what I want to do in 2022. So the next thing I'm doing to get me a bit out of my comfort zone, well, a lot out of my comfort zone, is winter mountaineering. So I've just come back from a successful but very expensive trip to a mountain shop in Manchester, and I've come back with mountain boots, some rather dangerous looking crampons, an even more dangerous looking axe, and a pair of gloves that cost more than the majority of the clothes that I own. Basically, in 3 days' time, I am driving north to Glencoe in Scotland, which I've been to a couple of times recently, but this time I'm doing something very different, and I'm heading up into the mountains on a workshop to teach me how to survive in the mountains in wintry weather. And looking at the snow forecast, we're going to be really lucky. There's a lot of snow in Glencoe at the moment. There is more forecast. What I'm not looking forward to is the potentially strong winds, but I've got all my kit necessary for getting up and down the mountains. I've got a load more outdoor kit that I've had previously, so I think I'm pretty much covered. This is not something like I've ever done before. Obviously, I've been out in the snow before. I live in the UK. We don't get as much snow as I'd like, but we get quite a bit of snow, so I'm used to that. But I've never put myself in a situation like this. Now, thankfully, the workshop leader that I'm going with, a guy called Alex Nail, who you might have seen his work, he has got a lot of mountain experience, and we've also got a mountain leader coming with us, and they're going to teach me and the rest of our group how to survive in those tough conditions. And I absolutely cannot wait for it. I'm so excited about this course. I've been wanting to go on it for a number of years. This is the first time that it's actually been possible for me to go, and I can't wait. Well, what an absolutely incredible week that was in the mountains that we had, and I really loved making that video that I've just shown now. If you want to see more stuff like this from me, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel. I want to use this space to inspire people, to teach people, and just to create more stuff that I love creating. So I'd really, really love it if you could subscribe and follow me along, because the more people that do that, the more I can create. So on to the week in the mountains. My hopes for this week were well and truly met and exceeded as well. It was just a phenomenal week and probably one of the best experiences I have had, certainly in recent times. There are a few things I wanted for the week, really, and the first one was to spend a week with some like-minded people. So I work at home a lot of the time. I'm on my own most of the day unless I'm out on shoots. So to spend a week with a bunch of like-minded people, we all got on really well. We all got to share the experience together, which was fantastic. And just to have that was so different to anything I've had over the last couple of years, and probably a lot of you have missed out on stuff like that as well. So to be able to do that felt like such a great experience, and it just reminded me how important it is to have that community of people around you. The second thing I wanted to get from it was I wanted to create some amazing visuals, and I wanted to push myself a bit creatively. I've never created in conditions like this before, and it was really challenging at times, as you can probably see from the conditions we had in that video that I've just shown. But to be able to produce something like that, I'm really proud of how that's come out, and I'm really proud of the pictures as well. I've taken a lot of really interesting photographs that I'm going to show you now that I'm really pleased with how they came out, because it was difficult. There was the wind, there was the snow. We couldn't use tripods because it was just too windy. And I hope that people enjoy watching the video and seeing these images as well. And the third and probably most important thing I wanted to get from this week was to move firmly out of my comfort zone. And that is exactly what I did. This is something unlike I've ever done before. And I loved every single minute with it, even the hard bits, the climbs, the pain, the cramp in my legs. It all added to the experience. And I've just come back with so many positive memories of that week in the mountains. And leading on from that, I wanted to gain experience in an environment that I'm not completely comfortable with. We had Alex leading a workshop, and we had Rich, who is a trained mountain leader. Alex is a mountain leader as well. And to have those two guys with us while we were up on the hills was so important, because they were looking out for us every step of the way. They taught us about the dangers in the mountains, about the different conditions, about the different types of snow, about what to do in different situations. So kind of safety element of everything was almost taken care of by those guys. We knew those guys were looking out for us every step. So that allowed us to focus on the experience and creating and just enjoying every minute. It was just, when you're up there, everything else empties from your head. You just take in these spectacular views, these amazing conditions that you've not been in before. And I honestly, I can't find the words to describe just how fantastic being there was. And I want to create more work in the outdoor space, because that's where I love being. I want to spend more time in the mountains and create things like this. This is an image I've kind of had in the back of my mind for a long time. It's a huge cliche. It's a shot that's been done many times before, but to see this in the snow was probably one of my favorite photographic experiences I've had. I didn't take much video on this day. I wanted to focus on getting some images that I was happy with. And this was just an absolutely incredible sight. It was an amazing morning, and I took a lot more photos as well that were maybe a little bit more experimental, but I'm really happy with how some of them came out. If you are considering anything similar to this, anything that's a little jump out of your comfort zone, I would well and truly urge you to go for it. And it's pretty much the same message that I put out in my last video. You've just got to embrace the fear. You've just got to put yourself out there and have these new experiences, because that's how you will grow as a person. And I put a couple of quotes up in the video, and the first one is for a film called Into the Wild that I saw last year, and I've thought about quite often since. It's by Christopher McCandless, and it's the core of man's spirit comes from new experiences. And that is exactly the thing that I'm trying to embrace at the moment, and the thing that I urge you to embrace too, especially after the last couple of years. We've all kind of got used to being stuck inside, and the more of us that can get outside, the more of us that can experience these things that we've not experienced before and share our experiences of them, I think it can make us all better people. And who doesn't want to be a better person? Once you do it, you start to realize what's possible, what you're capable of. And I think I'm only just starting to scratch the surface of that. So if you have any suggestions over something else I can do, other experiences I can do that kind of merge my loves of the outdoors, of photography and filmmaking, please put them in the comments below, because I'd love to see your suggestions, and I'd love to try different things out as we move through the next year or so. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you that takes the time out to watch these videos, and I will have another video out at the same time next week. Bye.